And welcome back to Relationships at Work, your guide to building workplace connections and avoiding leadership blind spots. I'm your host, Russell Lolliker, a communications leadership expert with a couple of decades of experience in both those areas and a whole heap of curiosity on how we can make the workplace a better place. If you're a leader trying to understand and improve your impact on work culture and the employee experience, well, you have found yourself smack dab in the right place. Welcome to our Thursday mini episode, just a quick and valuable bit of information to help your mindset for the week ahead. These are all inspired by our Raw Note newsletter, which of course you can subscribe to right off the russelllolliker.com or relationshipsatworkshow.com website, right there at the top, easy to find. Our focus today, the honest truth in defining our success. When we step into leadership roles, how often do we pause and think about what success really means? I'm not talking about success for the company. I'm not talking about success for the people we report to, or even for our teams for that matter. Though those all do really matter and you really should get a handle on all of that. I mean for us as leaders, personally. What do we want to bring to the role? What do we want to accomplish? How will we know if we've been successful? And here's the big one. When it's time to leave this role, what kind of a legacy do we want to leave behind for the people we've led? These are some important questions to ask, not only at the beginning of a job, a role, a position, but also throughout it. Because success is very personal. It's deeply tied to our own sense of meaning and value. It is. We can pretend it isn't, but it is. That's why when I'm working with leaders, one of the first questions I ever ask is, what does success look like for you? For you. And let me tell you, it's almost always a conversation they didn't realize they needed to have. Now, here's the thing. Defining success, it requires a thing called honesty. Real, gut-level honesty. It's about looking at how we're showing up for ourselves, our organization, our teams, and being willing to admit what's working and what's not. Now let's break this down with a few examples because success means different things to different people, different leaders. If our idea of success is about building something, a product, a service, a system, that's how we're defining success, is that we created a thing, then naturally our focus is going to be on productivity and delivery. And that's great. But let's be honest, this approach puts results ahead of people. It's about what we produce, not how we engage or empower our people. The end is basically telling us that it's a priority over the means. Now, if our version of success is about making our boss happy, and yes, I've heard many leaders actually tell me this when I ask them what success was, then our focus shifts upward. We're constantly tracking our boss's moods, reacting to their needs, and making sure our teams are. But let's call this what it is. We're not leading. We're not leading at all. We're following orders. We're shining our light upward while leaving our team in the dark. Now, if success for us is about fostering a healthy team culture, that's a different story. Here, we're prioritizing things like active listening, feedback, professional development, and open communication. And while that sounds ideal, it comes with trade-offs, just like all of these success versions do. This approach might mean pushing back on the hierarchy, setting boundaries, or defending our team when organizational demands clash with their well-being. There's going to be conflict. And how comfortable are we going to be with that? Here's the truth. Every definition of success comes with trade-offs. If success for us is X, then something else, Y or ZZ, I'm Canadian, I have to point that out, it gets deprioritized. That's just reality. And the sooner we're honest about those trade-offs, the sooner we can align our leadership with what we really value and understand where a balance might work better or not. But we have to understand what success is in order to be able to balance this. So let me ask you, what does success mean to you personally as a leader? What trade-offs are you making in pursuit of that success? And here's the tough one. Are you being honest with yourself about how your definition of success is impacting your team and your organization? If we're willing to sit with these questions, really sit there, marinate on them, it can completely reshape how we lead. Because success isn't just about what we prioritize, it's about what we choose to let go. The challenge, though, is in being brutally honest with ourselves. What aren't we valuing right now? What truths are we avoiding? Because once we face those truths, we might find that the success we're chasing isn't the success we actually want. Knowledge is power here too, because we have to look at our actions while also looking at how we define our success. Are they aligning? Are they matching up? And that's where the real leadership begins, when we align our actions with a definition of success that's meaningful, sustainable, and works for us. That's it. We're done. That's just a quick and dirty little mini episode of Relationships at Work, your guide to building workplace connections and avoiding leadership blind spots. I'm your host, Russell Lolliker. Always love spending this time with you. Thank you so much for being here. Really looking forward to next week. Got some very interesting conversations happening with our guest on Tuesday is Susan Ireland. We're going to talk about hacks to relationship building. Yeah, that should be interesting. And of course, our next mini episode coming out next week. Looking really forward to sharing all that with you. All right, take care of yourself. And we'll see you next week.